Welcome, friends. Today we shall journey into the demonic realm of English grammar. Actually, it's not that scary. And my experience shows that most students in English 100 just need to figure out 3 simple rules. This means proofread your writing. Every single sentence must be clear. One of the best ways to do this is to read your writing out loud to yourself, slowly, one word at a time. Your mouth and your ears will catch unclear sentences much easier than your eyes. For example, current to past in the issues of the day that put impact on the people. You can't fix that sentence, but you can ask yourself, what idea exactly was I trying to communicate? Then state that idea in a new sentence, such as, throughout history, people keep making the same mistakes. This means the fewer words it takes to communicate something, the better. And you already know this as a reader. You don't want to read 100 words if the same idea can be communicated in 10. Again, you can find and fix wordy sentences by reading them out loud. For example, because of the fact that right now, at this point in time, our environmental circumstances indicate that we would benefit from it, I think the most important step to take regarding the issue of climate change is to utilize solar power. Again, take a moment and try to figure out what exactly the sentence is trying to communicate. Then restate it with fewer words, such as, solar power can help mitigate climate change. It's also good to have other people read your writing. They'll let you know what might be unclear or wordy. Now, who wants to tell me what a run-on sentence is? Yeah, Buster, I see your hand in the air. No, Buster, it has absolutely nothing to do with how long a sentence is. You see this book? In it, I wrote a 764-word sentence, and it's perfectly clear, concise, and grammatical. If you want to know what a run-on sentence looks like, it looks like this. The problem here is that while the writer knows in his or her head what the sentence is supposed to mean, the reader has to stop reading and try to figure it out. Does it mean, Darren found a new surf break he liked, period? That it was never crowded? No, the first part makes sense, but not the second. Does it mean, Darren found a new surf break, period? He liked that, period. It was never crowded. It's grammatical now, I guess, but it sure sounds awkward as hell. How about, Darren found a new surf break. He liked that it was never crowded. Yeah, I think that's about what the writer is going for. So, how else can we fix this run-on sentence? Anyone have a suggestion? No, Buster, you can't just put a comma after break. That creates another grammatical problem called a comma splice, where you try to join 2 complete sentences together with a comma. Just like a run-on, it creates confusion and causes the reader to stop reading in order to figure things out. Instead, to fix a run-on or a comma splice, you can use a semicolon. They're grammatical, but a little clunky. You can use a conjunction. Darren found a new surf break, and he liked that it was never crowded. Yeah, that sounds better. Now let's talk about sentence fragments. A sentence fragment is exactly what it sounds like. Just a piece of a sentence, rather than the whole thing. Here's an example. This is a short example, but from what I've seen, most students write sentence fragments when they have a very long sentence and they get scared they're about to make a run-on. Again, thinking like Buster, that a run-on has something to do with the length of a sentence. To fix a fragment, you just have to figure out what sentence it belongs to and join them together in some logical and grammatical way. Like this. He didn't do the exercises, which is why he kept making the same mistakes. Notice here that fixing it with a comma does not create a comma splice because the second part, the part after the comma, cannot stand alone as a complete sentence. It's dependent on the first part. Now let's take a look at assignment number 3 in Google Classroom. Okay, here we are on the assignment 3 page. We're already taking care of step number 1, so let's move on to step number 2. Visit chompchomp.com and do the exercises as described in the video. Keep doing them until you have developed the ability to recognize and fix comma splices, run-ons, otherwise known as fused sentences, and fragments. Okay, so let's click into the exercises here. So you see here they have exercises on all sorts of grammar issues, but the ones we're going to focus on are comma splices and fused sentences or run-ons and fragments. If you like, though, you can do these other exercises. You might find those helpful as well. So you see comma splices and fused sentences here, fragments here. They have several exercises on each one. You're going to do as many as you need to. So let's take a look at the first exercise. If you want another tutorial on how to recognize comma splices and run-ons, just click here on Rules, and it will give you a nice explanation of how to identify and fix run-ons and comma splices. But let's go to the first question. So our sentence here is, Julie is a real hypochondriac. When her stomach hurts, she is certain that she has a bleeding ulcer. And if she has a backache, she believes that she has cancer of the spine. See, this is confusing. Does it mean Julie is a real hypochondriac when her stomach hurts? No, I don't think so. I think there's a run-on right after the word hypochondriac. So I'm going to click fused sentence, which also means run-on. Look at that. I want a car. If you get it right or wrong, you can click here to get an explanation and then go on to the next sentence. You do this same exact procedure for the fragments until you feel confident that you can identify and correct run-ons, comma splices, and fragments. Okay, so after you've done all the exercises, I want you to go back to our assignment page, and we're going to move on to step 3. Use Google Docs to write and repair a run-on sentence, a comma splice sentence, and a fragment sentence. Repair each sentence in 2 different ways, and I want you to write original sentences. Don't copy sentences from the exercise or from somewhere else on the internet. That would be plagiarism and would cause you to fail the assignment. Here's what your sample looks like. So you see here I have an example of a run-on sentence and 2 ways that I fixed it. I have an example of a comma splice sentence and 2 ways that I fixed it. And I have an example of a fragment sentence and 2 ways that I fixed that. That is what you need to create. Okay, that does it for this video. As always, if you have any questions, just drop them in the stream and I'll get to them as soon as I can. And in the meantime, I think I'm gonna need an exorcist.